Ethereum is looking a little bit different than Bitcoin, namely because Bitcoin has been using the weekly 10 as upper resistance and the daily 10 as lower support, and it's been bouncing between there. What Ethereum has here is the flashing here is the daily 10. So let me make the daily 10 like a different color. Let me make it white. Usually my 10s are all red, but since they're both 10s, I want to distinguish it. So the daily 10. So this is structured a lot. Let me zoom out. 1 hour chart. There we go. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum have been struggling to get above an origin line. But Ethereum, it might use both of these guys as support. However, bad thing of it is if it breaks below here and uses them as resistance, it would probably have a more severe down move than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance would begin going up most likely. Bitcoin dominance would start having gains, and Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart would go down significantly because Ethereum simply has more space to go down before it finds double support, which is at this horizontal, which touches the origin line, and I covered this last time at about 1350. So if it breaks below here, it's got a lot more to go. Does it have a chance to make a higher low at 1500? Yeah, so this is about 1500 right here. Yeah, it could, especially if a fake out move happens early in the morning, like I was talking about on my Bitcoin portion of this. If the high impact data makes it wick down and pre-market open, yeah, it could easily bounce because it's just going to go like this. It's going to go straight up or straight down, straight up, straight back in the middle. If that move happens at 8:30, around anywhere close to 8:30 a.m. New York time on Friday, August 5th. So I think that 1500 has a good chance of being support if the move down happens at that specific time. But if it's later in the day, Ethereum has done something like this, and then it comes up and uses all of these two EMAs as resistance, and then starts breaking down, I don't think 1500 is going to hold it. It'll have to come down to 1365 or whatever I said earlier. Roughly 1365. Is that making sense? So Ethereum has bigger and more obvious implications, but it's still going to have a, it's gonna go with Bitcoin's trick play, the TradFi trick plays at the beginning of the day. So Ethereum it moves right with Bitcoin during those trick plays as well. So it will be prone to that, and I think that this horizontal could come into play. I'm not giving you a long signal. If it hits that at 835 and you 100x leverage, with all your account, that's not my fault. And I don't get credit if it works. Like I'm not giving you trade signals. I do that for Discord VIPs, and the last 3 days I've recommended my Discord community not trade at all, and I've been saying on YouTube too. It's just choppy, directionless stuff. I think it was actually a good, in hindsight, I've been saying it for 3 days, and it's been 3 days where it's been horrible price action. Not very good to trade, the way I do things. So I'm not giving you trade signals. Don't 100x long this if it hits it at 835. And not use stops. So you can trade responsibly, try it, but I'm not giving any trade signals. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving you financial advice. Ethereum to the upside has also an obvious breakout point. Is this origin line, and it's ascending. So if you don't have the same origin line that goes back years like mine, well, just use these two wicks from July 24th and July 18th. That's it. Make a straight line. That's where you're. So if you can see it, got to get above, use it as support, and start creeping up over this horizontal. It's gonna fly. So both up and down is going to be fairly obvious. But look, there is a lot of space that you can have fake outs both ways. Look, that's 10%. There's so much space for weird stuff to happen here. So much space. Right? Especially if because that's a lot of space for that the trick plays to happen at market open. It's got a lot more playroom than Bitcoin does. So Ethereum could get really volatile tomorrow morning on Friday, August 5th. It could get its playroom is very big, and you can see it's just dancing around these lines. And where are these two key EMAs? Right in the middle of this and here. It can dance on both sides. So it can now, Again, later in the day, though, after the dust settles on whatever trick plays might or might not happen on Friday, if you do see these two EMAs being used as general resistance and it starts going like getting slumpy below, this horizontal, if it breaks below here again, after using these two as resistance, it's probably gonna, like, your target is, you can feel pretty confident with that measure, with the idea that it'll bounce here, come up, and then come down. Bounce at 15, but then make its way down. So those are all the key levels for Ethereum. I guess I didn't give you a price for the upper side. So for the upper side, it's around 1710 for the next couple of days. So 1710, 1500 for a possible bounce, and this could be in the open market trick play, and then lower targets if these two, the daily 10 and the weekly 10, if they end up used as support, your lower targets, it'll trigger a move down to 1360. Wouldn't happen all in 1 hour, wouldn't happen all in 1 day, probably get a bounce at 1500, but that in the end, that's probably at least to where it would go. And that's what we have for Ethereum. It's very clear, cut and dry type of stuff, but what makes it difficult is the playroom. There's so much playroom here. So even though it's clear, cut and dry, this makes it tough. And I still maintain it might be better to do nothing at all, unless again it happens at the end of the day. You start getting a lot of that resistance, and the early market stuff has boiled down. Maybe there, start thinking about getting confident with positions, and that is all I'm looking at on Ethereum. Hopefully that you find some helpful ideas in that.